Hello, this is Julie Bling. How are you today? I have another project using the Changing Leaves bundle. So this is part of Avid Stampers. If you buy the bundle through me, I'd love to send you 3 card kits for free. So this is the third one. Here is the second one. And here's the first one. Aren't those pretty? So this is the one we'll be working on today. And the products used, I'll list them in the video description, are Changing Leaves bundle. And the bundle includes 3 pieces: the stamp set, the dies, and the embossing folder. This is a hybrid embossing folder, which is so much fun. You could put a die, there's one particular die that fits right into here, and you could cut and emboss all at the same time. And I used that on both of the prior projects, but today I'll use just the embossing folder without the die inside of it. I'll also be using Cheerful Daisies, mostly for the words. Unbound dies, which is for this shape right here, this word label. Okay. Let's get started. So here are the pieces. And if you order the Changing Leaves bundle by August 29th, I'll send you the card kits for free. I'll start making the kits on the 30th. It'll probably take 2 or 3 days, and I'll get them into the mail right away. The item number is 164139. Okay, so these pieces are for, this is for this label right here. Let me tell you those sizes. Iridescent pearls, we'll get to those in just a minute. So for the word label, let's see. And I'll hold this up here in just a minute so you could do a screenshot. The word label, the seafoam is 3.5 by 2 1/8, and the peacock glimmer paper is 3 1/4 by 2. So we did those. These pieces are for the inside of the card, and there are leaves that are part of the bundle, and those are right here. Those are in peacock and shy shamrock, and these pieces are sparkle 3 inches by 2 inches. So I got those. So let's see, this is for the flap. The flap is 3 5/8 by 4 1/4. This black piece right here. And the flap apple is 2 3/4, or here, 2 3/4 by 4. And the white piece is 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. I'm sorry, 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. I'll hold this up in just a minute. And this piece right here, did you notice how it has the texture on it? Just a minute. Bo, you stay out. Out. Bo has a playmate. And why is he knocking on the door to come in? I don't know. So this part right here is flap. The second flap is apple is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. The black is 2 5/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so we got to those. The base is 5 1/2 by 7 1/4. Scored at 4 1/4. And the inside apple is 5 1/4 by 4. The inside white is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so we got through all that. I'm going to hold this up. You could do a screenshot. Get the finished product. Okay. If you can read my writing, and I'll put this on my blog in just a few days. Okay, there it is. And it has the score lines on there too. Just 2 scores. Okay. So let's see, where should we start? Let's start with doing this pretty bit right here. Isn't that pretty? All those colors in there, and it's so vibrant and it's so fun to do. So this piece right here is going to end up looking like that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, all these little pieces put right over here. So this is called, the technique is called Joseph's coat. So we're going to apply color to right here. And if you're like, oh, that's not good, it's going to be okay. Now do it maybe 2 bits of color in each of these areas. And if you're looking at this like, you didn't do that very good, when you look at it here, it looks just fine. So we're going to make it work. Okay, so there's that one. That's Pretty Peacock, Shy Shamrock, and it doesn't matter what order you do these in. You just want the color to be represented. It's funny, every time I do the Shy Shamrock, it does that. I guess the Peacock did it too, where it leaves a really heavy touchdown area. Oops. So when you're putting your color on, think about how vibrant do you want your leaves to shine through the clear embossing powder. And if in your head you're just saying, I'm lost, you'll get it here in just a minute. But as I hold this up, I'm going to use a stamp, kind of a bold stamp is better, and put in Versamark and then clear powder, and that's what's showing through. As I keep going here, you'll be like, ah, I get it, and then you want to try it. I mean, you could go crazy with the colors. One time I did it with, did it like this in yellows and pinks and a few Granny Apple green. And then I want to make sure on this one, Granny Apple is a little bit strong because that's the coordinating color I have here on this layer. But back to the other one that I did a few years ago. So I did all these colors, as you can see them being applied right now. And then I went through with the cutest little flower stamp, and I stamped it all over here. Then I had a bold flower stamp with like really big petals. Big, I mean, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches big. I'm trying to leave room for my last color, which is soft seafoam. But it turned out really cute. So please feel free to play, and I love to see pictures. A few of you have sent pictures of different things you've tried, and it's nice to see it. Okay, so this is soft seafoam. So there's 4 different greens going on here. When I put the soft seafoam on, you're like, that looks a little beige, a little gray-like. But once we finish this process, you'll be able to see the soft seafoam right through there. And so I'm going to just fill up this area. Maybe put a little over here. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so this next step is kind of really important, and I have a good, bad example. I'll show you in just a minute why it's important to do. That is, use your embossing buddy and wipe it. Be a little bit generous, like flip it over and try to get some of the powder out. You could see the powder on there. Like, yeah, you got too much on there. But the goal is to get any of the moisture from the ink out, and this will dry it up. And yes, I do see residue on there. I'm going to brush some of it off, but I know that I have good coverage. So you could see the powder on there. Okay, good enough. So now I'm going to take my Versamark and this stamp. And this one, I chose because, oh, see, these would be pretty because see how bold they are? But I chose this stamp because it's the most bold. I could do that and you would see all the color come through, but it's not. I think the bold works out better for this project. Okay. So I'm going to stamp, trying to get as many leaves as I can showing through here. And after you stamp, you'll have to hold up your paper with the light reflecting on it, just because looking through here, it's like, well, I don't see too much of anything. But if you get it just right, you could see the reflection. And if the leaves happen to cross, that's okay. Another thing when you're doing this technique is if you can have your Versamark pad well inked or give it a good re-ink, just because if you don't get good coverage, it doesn't look so good. And I have some good examples of that too, because you want the embossing powder all over this. This is like a different form of resist. Okay, so I think I need a little something here and maybe in this corner. Right now I'll put something there. Then something right through here. Okay. Now I'm going to put clear powder on it. When I have the clear powder on it, you're going to say, oh, I see it all. So today is Sunday family dinner. The kids came a little bit early, and we have Bruiser here with us, our grand dog, and the kids are going to the Blackberry Jam Festival right now. So they spent a little bit of time here chatting, and they're there now. Okay, so you could see the white on there. That's just the powder, and I'm going to heat it and make it clear. Let me use my tool. This is like the best tool. Ooh, where can I hold on to it? Right there. Well, that's kind of white right there. I didn't get much color. Well, it'll be okay. To make sure I got all of it. On this project, this is one that you really need to have all the way heated through. I think I need to heat it right there. Okay, that should do it. Okay, so When I show you the next step, you'll know why it's important to have it heated completely. I'm making sure it's all shiny. I don't want to see any powder. This, I wish I had more color on there, but that's okay. Okay, so can you see how it's shiny? And let's see. There you go. Isn't that fun? Okay, so now the next step is to put black on it. And black is going to, the clear embossing powder is going to resist the black ink. And as I'm looking through here, it looks a little bit, I heated it all the way, but I could see like little dots in it, which to me is saying I need to re-ink my Versamark pad. But let's give it a try. Heck, I might have to do it again. So, and I'll show you the way that you should do it, then I'll show you the way that I ended up doing it. This is the way you should do it. Apply black ink. And black ink sticks to wherever there's color, and it does not stick to wherever there's clear embossing powder. Okay, so you see it changing, and the more black ink you put on there, the more in focus those areas become. Okay, so that's the way you should do it. The way that I ended up doing it, because I was impatient, is like that. And then I'll use the brush, the blending brush, to kind of smooth it out. And don't think that this is a terrible mess. It's going to end up being beautiful. Kind of already is. Okay, so you can see where I kind of really wiped the ink on right here. And now, but I could tell there's areas like right here that I need to get more of the black ink. So this is just kind of a form of resist. And if it isn't 100% coverage, that's okay, just so it's mostly covered. Okay, so I'm going to show you, remember how I mentioned I have a good bad example? I'm going to show you that. But first, see how this keeps on looking a little bit, it's like it's not picking up the black. Let me try it one more time like this. Did that help? That did help. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that, and I will show you my good bad example. Keep your re-inker handy. We're going to use this. So this is my bad example. And it's a bad example because when you're looking at it, you're like, well, that's just fine. But I didn't use the embossing buddy. And I noticed that over here, because I wanted it to be brighter, granny apple green, I took my blending brush, put more granny apple on it. Then I did the Versamark and clear powder. The clear powder stuck to where I just had used my blending brush to do granny apple green. Therefore, if I were to take this, yeah, this is going to show you. Make sure you use your embossing buddy. So when I hold this up, you'll go, oh, I get it. See how the clear embossing powder is resisting the black ink? And that's just because I didn't use my embossing buddy. Or if you look at this one, where I did use the embossing buddy, I get good background coverage. Okay, so we're done with that. Not too messy. Woohoo! And I'm going to take my lovely tissue and kind of brighten these up. So what I mean by that is just take an area and I'm going to work right over here. Can you see how it's a lot brighter? What it's doing is taking any residue of the black Memento ink off of the embossed images. This clear leaf. So at this point I did this half I haven't. Let me do a little bit like maybe right here. That's really dark, so it might be hard to see. But it really, in person, it really freshens it up and brightens it up. So remember how I said make sure that your embossing powder is all the way heated through? So if you had any powder of embossing powder on here right now, as you rubbed it, it would just, or as you took the black ink pad, it would be gone and you wouldn't get such crisp leaf outlines. Okay, so that's how you do this background. So I'm just going to let that sit off to the side for a minute. How does that happen? I don't know. Ooh, I smell like rose water. Okay, let's see what else there is to do. Hold on. Okay, let's start putting this together. So these pieces of glimmer paper are for the inside, and that is using the dies that are part of this bundle. And I'll do the double and the single out of both of these papers. Those are here. Okay. And this is for the Unbounded Love die. So I'll cut that out. And we'll stamp on here, and then we're going to hand cut it. That's it. Keep your re-inker handy. So let's start building this card. Let's work on the base. So those pieces go in there. How about the flap? Let's work on the flap. So this is Granny Apple. And it's just a layer. I haven't used this in a while. I've been using my liquid glue lately. Okay, so that just gets layered on here. Then, this little bit of loveliness. I wonder if I turn it over, if I'm going to have ink on my scratch paper. I think we kind of, with the tissue, rubbed off most of the excess. Yeah, there's a little bit. And how should I put this on? See this right down here where I didn't get full coverage with the Versamark and therefore not full coverage with the clear powder? I kind of don't like that so much. So I'm going to put this, well, that's what happened right down here too. Trying to hide it. Let's just go like that. Okay. And this little flap that's folded, I'm going to put, I'll do liquid glue onto here. And then I'll put this right here in the middle. Like that. And now to cover up this bump, I'm going to use Granny Apple And the 2 layers of paper will cover up that bump, so if you're writing on the inside, it won't impede your handwriting. Okay, and before I stick this down, I'm going to stamp on it, because I might need to flip it over if I do a whoops. But that could sit there. Okay, and now to do this, we'll start out with the granny apple. I could stick that down. And I'll put all the products used and the paper cut sizes on my blog in just a few days. This one goes right in the middle. And now this I'm going to texture. At first I was thinking about putting, where's those pieces? This peacock paper right in here. But it's like, oh, that's kind of distracting because I really like how this Joseph's coat technique turned out. So I'm just going to do the embossing folder plain. So just find a few leaves that you like in here. I like these that have all that detail on them. Actually, I like, they're all pretty. So just put it into the folder and run it through. And it's right here. At first I was thinking about cutting out some of these leaves and just laying them on top as a background. But look at, can you see how pretty that embossing folder die cuts, or it embosses? It's like a really deep emboss. I don't know if you could see. When I take the pictures for my blog, I'll make sure that you can see them. Beautiful embossing folder. All on its own. Then being hybrid, it cuts stuff too. Okay, so that goes right here. Okay, so to do the words, doing something just a little bit different, the word label. See, we're almost there. So to do the word label, I have this cut out from Unbound Love dies, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment in here. But I'm purposely going to have it up in the corner, like right where I'm going to want it to glue it down. Then I'm going to stamp it in black. You're like, you're going to fussy cut that? But 2 of the 4 sides are already done. That's good. So while I'm at it, I'll do these words on the inside. Wishing you the brightest birthday. This is a bright card. Oh, and you know what? I don't want the words to show through here, so I'm going to drop them down just a little bit. Okay. And we'll put all this prettiness on the inside in just a minute. But let's get back to the words label. To do the words label, I'm going to put glue on this, just stick it down right there, and see, to hold on to it, I'll hold on to one of these little leaves on the inside. I'm trying to do thin glue because I don't want it smushing out all over. Definitely get the outside, the outline. Okay, so now put it on there. Well, I think I'm going to get dirty. And I'm lining it up right with that corner, this corner, and the top. Ooh, because I don't want to cut it. If it's already cut on my paper cutter, yeah, a little heavy on the glue there. So the kids, they came early to go to the Blackberry Jam Festival, and I know I heard someone come in and go out, and Tony just came in, he goes, "Where's the kids?" So I wonder why they're not at the festival. They purposely came a few hours early. Find out soon enough. Okay, so now it's stuck on there, and you could see that nice little border. Then I'm going to do a little fussy cutting. And it's easier than you might think. Just a little border, and you don't have to be that precise. I saw someone online taking the die, turning it upside down, because the die has a little ridge on it, using a pencil to trace the outline of the die, which is just a little bit bigger than what the die cut piece will be. And then using that as a guide for cutting. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I guess I'm not that precise. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Pretend like this was a whole piece of seafoam paper. Pretend like it was all one. They would take the die right here, lay it on there, take their pencil, go around the outside edge, and use that for cutting. So that's another way to do it. Okay, let's see, where are we? This could go on with dimensionals. Oh, host code. If you need any Stampin' supplies and you don't have a demonstrator already, I would love if you place orders using this host code at my online store, which is jillystampin'up.net. Okay, so I'm going to put right now 3 dimensionals on here. Lay it right on here, right in the middle. Then I'll take a couple more dimensionals. And put them right out there to the edge. I don't want them sticking over, or otherwise they stick this card closed. Can't have that. Okay, so there's no ribbon on here, but how about a few pearls? I was trying to come up with like the peacock and petal pink gems. They have gold in it, and I thought, oh, that's a little bit distracting. So, you know what, I smushed these together and glued them down together. I'm like, look at those, they're touching. I think I glued it. Oh, it still looks okay. The peacock and petal gems are kind of metallic, and I wanted it to be just a little bit more subtle of gems. And there's no black pearls, but we're going to make them black. So here's iridescent pearls. And I tried coloring this one with the black blends, and it came out just a little bit too light. I tried coloring this one with the peacock dark blends, and that one is, I think it's a little bit distracting when you put it on the card. Like, see when it's on there, I think it's just a little bit distracting. So I used a Sharpie to color these pearls, and they're just really dark and kind of a little bit of understated elegance. So I'll do 3 pearls. I'm trying to make sure to get the black all the way to the edges. And I'll do 2 little ones. You could color your pearls any color you want. So if you need yellow ones for flower centers, easy enough to do. Same with rhinestones or any gem you have. Okay. Then attach these. Right there is a dot. It's going to go right there. Okay, so for the inside, so that is done. So for the inside, I have the words already stamped, and now I'm just going to attach these little cutouts. So how about here? Should just be 3. And if you have little cut off pieces, you can save them for like this was a cut off piece. You could put it wherever it's absent something. Some of these were overlapping. That looks okay. So maybe that. That. Just like that. I don't know. It's just so pretty. It's hard to do wrong. Trying to keep it a little bit thin on the glue because lately it's smushing out all over. I think it's because I just refilled this bottle. The glue is ready to go. Okay, now where did I have that one? Right there. And at this point, I'm just going to leave it set there, let the glue start to set up. Then I'll smush it down after the glue is a little bit tacky. Maybe if I just do dots of it. Tiny dots. Maybe that's better. Yeah, the kids are out there. It sounds like they're out there talking on the front porch. I wonder what happened with the Blackberry Jam Festival. I know it's kind of smoky out there. Michaela is showing. She is just so cute. It's like I'm coming up with a plan all over again. Okay, right there. Glue, glue, glue. So all these projects, they're so fun because each one has kind of a different color technique. So the first one was coloring on vellum with alcohol markers. Oh, that was fun. And using rubbing alcohol 91% and kind of pushing the color around. That was lots of fun. Then the next one was coloring with blends, and that one they came out so vibrant. Now this one is using a technique And I love how vibrant that is. So if you get the bundle and the card kits come to you, everything will be ready for you. Just to give it a try. Just try it. Trying stuff is fun, especially when you're successful at it. When you're not successful and you have whoopses like this one, like, oh, but I know you won't do that. Okay, so it's looking good. Let it dry a little bit more, and then I'll trim off these little ends. I kind of want to use this somewhere. But you know what? I do have a tendency to overdo things sometimes. Okay, just leave it. Less is more, right? Okay, so the front is all done. This just needs trimming. Okay, so wherever there's a little bit sticking over the edge, it gets trimmed. Which is kind of a shame, because those little tips of the leaves are the most delicate, prettiest little things ever. But sometimes that's just what you have to do. Okay, whoop, this one is already done. This one needs the inside. That turned out pretty. Wishing you the brightest birthday. This is bright. Bright, lots of greens. Okay, so I think this is about it. I'll put the supplies to use in the video description, and on my blog, which is jilliebling.com, I'll put all the photos and paper cut sizes. So if you didn't write them down, I'll have it there in just like a day or so. So that is it for today's project. I hope you like it. I hope I inspired you to give this a try. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.